Hey everybody, welcome back to the show, and you know we're all fans of So You Think You Can Dance Canada here. We're very happy to have our next guest in the studio.
Yes, and it's in 1 week going to be a 1-year anniversary for both of them since they competed on the show and did rather well. So You Think You Can Dance Canada's Tara-Jean Popowich and Vincent Desjardins. How you guys?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Can you believe it's been a whole year?
No, definitely not.
So what's the year been like? I mean, since you guys competed on the show, since you won and since you placed second, what's the year been like? I mean, what does it actually do to your career?
It changes your life. Like during the show, you're in this bubble and you don't realize. You're like, yeah, I'm dancing every day. It's great.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get back to your hometowns, like both of us had the same experience. You're like, you see your name everywhere. Your face is on billboards, on the McDonald's signs, and you're like, what just happened?
This is one of the great things about So You Think You Can Dance Canada and the one in the U.S. It's bringing dance to the forefront, where people like you who have always danced are making careers of it, and now young people are looking up to you and thinking, oh, I can dance. Vincent, how do you think about that kids look up to you guys and want to pursue dance?
Well, it's really great. Like, we're doing a lot of convention and stuff like this, and it's really like just when kids are coming to you and be like, oh, you inspired me or some stuff like this. It's like, oh my God, like I'm really helping. Like, just for me, even more like just to be a male dancer, it's there's not a lot of boy.
Well, Vincent,
dancing,
and this sort of plays into how you first started your dance life and your dance career when you were a young man as well. I mean, there weren't a lot of role models. You got taken along. Was it to your sisters?
Yeah, exactly. It's she was like, oh, I'm gonna give you some candies and stuff like this, and I just said, okay, cool, I'm gonna dance with you. And
why not?
So bribery was involved.
Like, there's some candies, come dance with me.
Tara-Jean, tell us how the show works. We see it as an audience. We see you guys dancing different dances every week. You specialize in contemporary, and Vincent, you ballroom. But when you guys are on the show, you do a bit of everything. So how do they decide which dancers are doing every week? Is it a draw?
Yeah, well, you have a hat, and you find out who your partner is.
It's one of my favorite moments on the show, by the way, because you can see on people's faces like, oh God.
Yeah, it's intense. Like you pull.
And you pull the dance that you're doing, and then you find out. But maybe tell us with this dance here, of course, that we're looking at. How does the choreography work? How much time did you get to prepare for this one here?
Not long. I mean, people don't get to see behind the scenes, and I want people to know how hard it actually is. So we got 3 hours with Stacey Tukey for that piece.
You're kidding.
To learn it, and then you have the night by yourself, and then you wake up at like 4 a.m. to go on stage to practice.
Really?
You honestly, I thought you guys had like a week of work with Stacey to get used to this.
No, we have like just 3 hours to learn it. After she's gonna be there, she's still gonna be there like to help us and stuff like this during like a full day, and the other day is like the taping.
Vincent, I mean, that piece that we just saw was so beautiful, so emotional, and I've read an interview that you guys were talking about the reaction after you finished that number.
Oh yeah.
It was silence.
Which was silence, which for a performer would be probably the scariest thing you could hear, right? But for a wonderful reason. Tell us about that moment when you guys stopped that number.
Well, it was really like, because at this point, for us, because there's spotlights on us, we were not able to see the audience. Yeah. So you're like, okay, so at the moment we finished it, I was like, okay, cool, like, and no claps. So I was like,
and the story of the dance was what?
About mental illness. So we didn't know if people were like, that was too much for a dance, because we threw our hearts into that piece. Like we were so vulnerable.
You could see it.
And so when we didn't see anything or hear anything, we're like, what just happened?
But the real reason why everybody was quiet was because they had to cut because the audience was crying.
Yeah.
But that shows the power of dance. That must be so incredible when you do realize you have made people have emotions just by watching you move.
Yeah, it's the best feeling in the world, like to tell a story and get people to believe it. That's our job as dancers. We tell a story, but it's hard to make it realistic and be like, this is my story and you have to believe it, because neither of us have gone through that situation, of course. So we had to take ourselves into a completely different mentality, and like it was the hardest.
Like
we felt depressed during that piece.
Vincent, how much do you learn going through that process? I mean, obviously coming from a ballroom background, you have to learn the techniques of other dances, but just in terms of the art of dance, how much do you learn going through an experience like that?
You learn so much, just not about dancing, like just about yourself, because it's just pushing you through some really hard moments, and you're like, oh, am I like, is it what I want to do? Is it like what I want to be? And like just to be like so like to work so hard.
I didn't even
every
think
day.
about that. Like, do I actually even want to do this? You know, this
like,
is such a
oh.
crazy job.
Well, congratulations to both
Beautiful,
of you,
you guys.
and you guys are going to dance for us right now. We're going to let you get ready while we tell you where you can
We
see
gave them the option
dance.
of dancing with us, but
Well, you know what? We both chickened out, is the truth, because so you think you can dance, so you think you can't dance is right over here. You can see both of them at the West Coast Women's Show until October 24th. Would you want to dance instead?
No.
At Tradex in Abbotsford, and they will hit the main stage Sunday, October the 24th at 3 o'clock. And so you think you can dance Canada season finale. The big night is Sunday night, October the 25th. So make sure that you do not miss it.
9 p.m. on CTV, you guys. Thank you.
Take it away.
They are going to perform for us now. Dance for me.